I'm Senator Bob Huff. Thank you for joining me for my Capital Comment for the week of February 11th, 2013. I think we all would like our government to be open and transparent, but the reality is something different. Now, previously I've carried a bill that bills would have to be in print 72 hours before we act on it. That went crashing down to defeat. And so I joint authored that with the Democrat, Senator Lois Wolk, and there's a similar bill in the Assembly. But this SCA 10 would require legislation to be in print and online for 72 hours. New York, Florida, Hawaii, and other states have similar rules, so this isn't like cutting-edge legislation. Legislature certainly requires local government to have a lot more transparency. They have to wait 5 days. The advantage of this is we get a better product. There's more public input. People have an opportunity to actually see what the law is going to be and try to make changes to it if it impacts them. It would also stop the end-of-session shenanigans that brings out bills that we find after the fact have detrimental impacts that we just weren't aware of. But it's not just about transparency in government. We need better accountability. We have a report from the state auditor this week doing a probe on the Parks and Recreation scandal that this money, this $20 million of cash, was hidden much longer than they thought. 20 years, from 1993. So there's been a systematic hiding of government funds at the same time that the agency moved to close 70 parks. This money could have kept them open. Instead, they were going out hat in hand trying to get donations from the public. They shuttered a lot of the parks. The parks leadership has been replaced, surplus has been directed to operations, and now the new rule of Department of Finance is that department heads are required to certify under penalty of perjury what they report is accurate. Do we really have to do this? Well, evidently yes. But as we saw just last week with the school scandal, that there's a lot of funds that are supposed to be going for one area and they get directed to something else. These kinds of things in government are what give us a lack of trust in our elected officials and the government that they oversee. And then lastly, we've talked a lot about the supermajority the Democrats have now and what that means. Well, here's another tax they're proposing. It's not new, it's something they've tried before, but it's an oil extraction tax. And as they're framing it, they're saying we're the only state that doesn't do this. Well, keep in mind, we don't have an oil extraction tax, but we do have a lot of other taxes that other states don't have. So we are taxed in the middle of the pack when you look at what the overall tax on oil is. This is a $2 billion tax hike. It will be passed on to the pump because these corporations don't pay it, we do. But what it could do is drive oil production out of state, and not only do we have to pay more for the gas we have, but we lose jobs in the process. I'm Senator Bob Huff. Thanks for joining me for my Capital Comment.